back again.
We're back.
We are back. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Big Loud Mouth. This is episode 20.
Woo!
I am Tola.
I'm Oz.
And as usual, we are here again tonight. But tonight we have a special guest.
All right.
And his name is Kenny.
Hi,
Would you like to
everyone.
introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone, my name's Kenny and I'm here to talk a little bit about mental health.
Mental health.
If we are just going straight, I love
straight
it.
in.
I love the
Go
passion.
straight in.
Did you guys feel that? You feel that energy?
Straight in.
I'm about to
It was
dive
electric.
in.
Just like this.
I think we're going to... I don't want to use the term fun tonight. I think we're going to learn tonight.
Yeah.
I hope so.
This guy's already shady. Okay, we're going to learn tonight. Tonight we're, but before we, go into tonight's episode, we'd like to do a little recap of last week.
And yeah, guys, it's a milestone. 20 episodes.
Yes.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
20 episodes.
We're
getting there.
It's the grace of God.
Yeah, that's it.
But last week we spoke about Davido,
Yeah.
professing his love. One thing that reminded me of is he's actually not the first guy to do it. P. Diddy does that every day.
But I
He's
don't
got like
understand
10 baby
I
mamas
don't understand
and-
where you got the ideology that he was the
I was
first
just
one.
thinking about it. I was just thinking, I was like, why are people making a big fuss out of him?
No,
confessing
the
his
reason-
love
the
after
reason-
two baby
no.
mamas?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
big
but
lie.
and P. Diddy does that with
No,
seven baby
but plus,
mamas
no,
on
I'm
a
not
daily.
gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on.
Plus, the song Assurance bangs.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That's the
What?
main reason. Because
And-
even me, everywhere I'm going now, I'm looking for one Chioma. So if you're Chioma,
Kenny, do you want to
At
tell
me.
him that Chioma is already asking
At
of
me.
him?
Chioma is asking of me. Swear.
Your Chioma is 6
Man,
feet.
yo, Oz, 2Z_most. Chioma, get at me, B.
Boy.
The thing is, yeah, he's your boy, innit?
Also-
Every week
Ah,
I keep trying to
safe,
tell him.
bruv. At least you didn't deny me, though.
I keep
Unlike
trying
some
to tell
people.
him, Oz, you need to get your life together. You need to find someone you love. And Oz is like, yo, listen, this baby boy life is just me. And I mean,
He's not ready to settle down. He's not ready to settle down.
I mean, so if
not
we,
ready.
please,
He's not
Chioma,
ready.
if we can,
Chioma, just...
Yo,
You know,
you man.
that's all I'm
You want
saying.
to try to assassinate my character? Listen, being ready. Look. Being ready. Man's ready to pay the dowry, the bride price right now. Just call me up. Dowry gets paid for now. I'm ready.
I can't. Kenny's looking at you like, wow, is this
Don't
my
ever
boy?
try it. Don't ever try
like-
it. I'm ready.
I don't know this guy.
Don't ever try it about us is not ready. Please.
Anyway, that's us confessing his love.
Yeah, for someone that
Do you have a
wants love.
special
Do
somebody?
you have a special somebody?
Actually.
You don't. Ah.
Why is that?
Hopefully, by the end of this show, your voice and the way you look, no homo. You probably get someone by the end of the night.
Huh? To be honest, I'm just taking it easy right now.
Yoruba
No,
Dimo.
that's cold.
taking
That's
it easy
cold.
right now.
He said he's just taking it easy.
He's just taking it
He's
easy.
taking
So
it
it's
easy.
whatever come, any restaurant, chop and go, chop and clean mouth.
Mad.
You know,
Mad.
I don't want no commitment, just
Mad.
easy.
Listen.
Is that?
If Chioma's out there, she's out there, innit? But
Okay, I hear you.
I do know Chioma is not on your phone right now.
boy, is she calling me to check where I am?
Wahoo. Wahoo.
Yeah, ringing.
Please, Choma, call in and check in.
Chioma,
I beg.
Ringo.
Anyone calling my phone?
Ringo.
Kenny wants Choma to call. Anyway, after that, we spoke about Kanye West. And I think that kind of
Led into today.
led into today a little bit. But I
Yeah.
we're going to you know,
So even from that, did you see his the interview he did with Charlemagne?
No, not all of it.
Did you see some of it? Did you see the part where he talked about his mental illness and what he was suffering from? All right, cool. All right, the reason I was gonna say that is, obviously we earlier on before off camera we talked about, do we believe in mental illness, right? And Tola's gonna share his view on that. Ken's gonna share his view on that, and I'm gonna share my view on that. So yeah. So do you
there's going to be a lot of
do you believe in the ideology of mental illness and what that is? Because I feel like I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
But I feel like in our community, especially within Black Africans in general, that's something that's obviously swept underneath the table. Our mental illness can be solved with one slap.
yeah. Reset button.
Can be solved. One, bah, both sides for your face. Finish. But no say that what you're doing is just harboring something deep. So I feel like, obviously Ken being here, Ken within that field of mental illness and your view of mental illness, what's that?
Okay, so before you kickstart the whole you know, I want to say the whole learning and educating and awareness process of tonight, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I want to say, you know, if I have to be me. Let's just start there.
Mhm.
The fact that someone doesn't totally believe in mental illness doesn't mean they're not educated or ignorant or, you know.
Mhm.
It's just the fact that you probably don't have someone who's experienced it. You're not surrounded by people who haven't experienced it, who, you know, not because they don't want to talk to you. So take, for example, when I was a lot younger, as those would say, like, I'm a jebota, but to be honest, I'm not really a jebota.
He's sport child.
Is you're going through stuff, right? You cry. It's not like we don't cry. Nigerians, especially as kids, even as teenagers, you're known to cry, but you won't cry outside. You know what I'm saying? You cry, you go through things, and when people ask you, you either want to tell them or you don't want to tell them. You know? And the thing is, you move on. It's how we're shaped. It's how
Okay,
we're built.
so what you're saying is that in your life,
my own
in
opinion.
your life of being sport.
Do you know what? I think what you're
Really?
I think what you're trying to
Yeah.
say is probably touching on sort of a bigger issue, and that's probably like, you know, the whole culture difference in mental
Yeah.
health. You know, from being in this country
Mm.
and being in Nigeria, or
Yeah.
being in Nigeria.
And my thing is, this is the reason why I say mental health. I'm aware of people's feelings out there. I know it's a big thing. There's a big, you know, awareness going on about it. Doesn't make me ignorant of what people go through. People go through stuff. I just see as life.
So okay, and you say it's just like, so you know, we've got that cultural mentality of, oh, it's just stuff, just deal with it, right? Just overcome it. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Stop trying to
Like,
make
if life was meant to be smooth, there's no point.
Stop
in
trying
it,
to make
you know?
an issue,
Like,
issue over it. So it's not like you don't believe in mental illness.
Oh,
or
there's
you-
mental illness. There are people in
Okay.
Nigeria where we know they suffer from mental illness, but
Or madness.
there you go. We see it as madness, and you know, when it's on like extreme level.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, don't get me wrong. There are people who talk to themselves in Nigeria, and we just say like, "Oh, he's losing it." It's not like, oh, mental illness, we should be aware. It's like people go through things. How you react is who you are.
Okay,
Do you get what I'm saying?
I guess what kind of makes a difference here is that obviously in the UK we tend to put a label on a lot of stuff,
Exactly.
right?
And I think that's where my problem
Hence
comes
why there's
from.
like different form
Yeah.
of mental illness. You know, from depression to anxiety to what's it called when you have
Nervous
have,
breakdown.
Yes, when you have no, but you have like
PTSDs.
double traits, right?
Personality.
Yeah, personality,
bipolar, being bipolar.
being bipolar, or if you're someone like, I feel like my dad is definitely this. If he did suffer from mental illness, I feel like that's also his strength. When you like things being clean and kept in the same place, what's it called?
OCD.
OCD.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like to an extent, some people in my family have that. Right. But I feel like that's just how they deal with stuff. Right. They like to they're particular with their stuff. But
Yeah.
in here in the UK, it's given a title. So once it's given a title, it becomes this real thing that's tangible.
Why? What's wrong with giving it a title?
Because there's nothing wrong with people that just want to. Okay,
Yeah.
I use OCD as an example, right? I feel like, well, no, if people are very peculiar about how they like to live their life and like they have like stuff to be,
Yeah.
that's not a disorder.
It's not a disorder, and that's where, like, you know, maybe, you know, you might not be too aware of mental health in that way, in that, you know, huge spectrum, and not every sort of, you know, like, you have your OCD, and you said your someone in your family might suffer from OCD or something like that, but necessarily it might not be a disorder to them. It might not be a disorder in general.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to check up the definition of a disorder.
Okay.
So
Because if you think about, remember I was speaking to you in the car journey here, and I said to you, oh, you know what, it's normal.
Yeah.
Anxiety is normal.
Yeah.
Like that feeling that you get before an exam.
And I
is
said,
normal.
that's
You know,
normal. You know,
when it becomes a disorder, it means that it's interfering with your life. That's when it switches from sort of, oh yeah, it's just anxiety,
to a mental illness.
to a disorder.
and
You
I
know,
think
yeah, go on, sorry.
my I was going to ask you to please, maybe for my sake, in your professional world, what do you define as mental illness?
Mental health.
Yeah, mental health. Sorry,
Mental health.
I have to literally
See that
come to terms with
correction straight away.
No, well, mental
I
health.
like it now. I like
No,
it. Yeah.
mental illness, mental health. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people, you know, call it.
What do you define? What's, if you were to look for like a core definition of what would bring everything together? I'm not saying like just give you one word, or, you know, mental illness, mental health is one word for it, but
generic.
like it's I need like something that defines what, if someone's going through this, you can relate. There's a common factor that brings everything to say, okay, this is mental health. The mental health is deteriorating or something.
I think like mental health, I generally I like the term mental health, but a lot of organizations now use well-being as well to switch, to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
Because of maybe stigma attached to the word mental health, things like that. And so when you think about it, your mental well-being, the way that you're thinking.
Yeah.
And there's been like a huge movement, which most people might not know about unless they're sort of like aware within the community where, there's a huge movement so the NHS in general, there's a huge movement called IAPT services and psychological therapy services that are trying to improve mental health for a whole load of people. And, it's based on the foundation that they said no health without mental health.
Yeah.
And if you think about physical health, if you're sick, if you've got a broken leg, what would you term that? What would you term?
I broke my leg.
You broke your leg. So what would you need? What would you want to do to that?
Probably surgery.
Yeah.
Rehab.
Rehabilitation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are we talking about physical health? Why are you confused about mental health and not physical health?
It got you there.
Wait. In what way?
So you said so you don't really believe in mental health.
Yeah.
But actually, mental health is actually just like physical health.
I think
so you go to your doctor.
Yeah.
If you're suffering, if you've got a broken leg. Okay.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you go to your doctor if you're feeling down?
If I'm feeling down, and I pick up my phone and I call maybe Oz or Ade, I'm like, yo, this is how I'm feeling, and they'll be like, oh, do you know what? You're gonna be all right. This is life. They say something not in the most horrific way or in the most pleasing way, but they go, do you know what, my guy? Maybe because of where we're from, but what I expect is like if I call my friend and go, yo, my guy, this is how I'm feeling, and he goes, you know what? Okay, do this. I think this should be. I'd be like, oh, you know what? Thank you.
Okay, wait.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What happens if it persists?
If it persists, I think maybe physically I'm just built differently.
Okay, but what you're saying is kind of what he's saying in the sense that you picking up that call to call a friend is a form of treatment. All right. So you may not be necessarily going to see somebody that has a qualification and that has its accolades. See, I did that, right? And titles, right? But yet they're still able to prescribe the same sort of medication that as you would if you were to pick up a friend. And the thing that we're talking about the mind, and why is the mind not deemed the same as physical health? And I always used to say this, that I feel like the mind kind of plays a lot of roles within our understanding and obviously our perspective. Is the realm where emotions stays, right? And a lot of the time we there's a constant conflict within our mind due to one, because it's heavily inflicted by our environment, right? How we're raised, right? And how we perceive and to see stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, to an extent, like I said, I kind of share the same thing with you because I feel like the mind is something that's
it's a powerful instrument in a human
and it's
being.
Also influenced by environments. I feel like that is more of an easier fix to me, to my understanding, right, than physical health, because I don't feel like physical health.
If you break your leg, you can't walk.
Yeah, it's not environmental determined, right? Whereas your mind state, your state of mind can be influenced by your environment. So if you're not in a particular state of environment, it's easier fix and say, okay, up at that.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing my opinion, all right, to someone else. Okay, so for instance, obviously, my sister, right, and she used to suffer from anxiety, like really, really bad. And there was a night that it was really, 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 really bad, really bad. And, she came, she woke me up, and she was like in constant panic. I'm like, why are you panicking, this, that? So I was like, okay, cool. I just felt like in that state where she was, her mind wasn't right. So I was like, okay, cool. What's the easiest way for me to get her mind in the right place?
Yeah.
And obviously, so I sat her down, I read the Bible with her, I went for a scripture with her. And for me, within that phase of time, her mentality has switched. She started to think about something that was positive, started to think about something that will help her to go through this rehabilitation process.
Yeah.
And ever since then, she hasn't suffered from anxiety. So I feel like what you're saying is spot on, but The only thing that I wouldn't say is not, I don't put it on the same par level as physical health, is because I feel like the mind is so is so influenced by our environment that I can't really necessarily say it's something that weighs the same as physical health. And I feel like maybe that's where we're missing it
Yeah.
in our culture.
So wait, Kenny, do you think the environment is a factor, a key factor?
Yeah, of course. Your environment does play like a massive role in like, you know, how you behave, how you respond to things, you know, whether or not you're happy or sad,
Yeah.
you know, if you've got a good family around you, things like that. I think that your environment is a good factor. And sometimes when you're taken out of that environment, you know, things can happen. You
Yeah.
might start to feel a little bit low, you might start to feel a little bit anxious. Just going back to your point was there with like thinking that it's not up to par, you know, with physical health. You know, like you said, you know, there's the mind element of it as well. And, you know, actually some people find it really difficult. You know, if you hadn't been there, your sister would find it really difficult to actually help herself in that situation.
Okay.
So in that situation for her, that was, you know, I don't want to say dire situation, but she was in panic.
Yep.
You know, to her, she was in a dangerous. She might have felt like she was in a dangerous situation. You know, why wouldn't that be up to par with your physical health? You know, is why I'm just trying to sort of say actually, you know, mental health and physical health.
Yeah.
You know, they come together. It's the same thing. You know,
I get you. I get you. Do you know?
technically,
That's
obviously,
true.
not medically not the same thing, but
I'm
actually,
going to
I
ask
think they weigh
you
the
for
same.
at least like the next 3 minutes to give us a lot more broader. You know, you've heard both of us speak. What do you think people are missing? People like myself, what do you think we're actually missing? Which can be in terms of the missing link of why we don't really feel like mental health is such a big thing.
I think maybe it just boils down to experience, you know, in terms of the way you've lived your life and how things that you've both seen. And I think that, you know, I wouldn't say your fault.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably not your fault. You know, where you've been grown up, where you've been brought up. How to get that awareness, how to sort of get more awareness of mental health is, you know, other than sort of, you know, looking online, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, speak to people, you know. I'm always here, obviously. And I think that's where sometimes people are where it's missing is that they haven't really had anyone that's lived with it themselves, lived with a mental health disorder, or they haven't experienced it themselves, so they don't know. So I don't know what it's like to break my leg.
Oh, I know what it feels like
I've
to
never
break an
broken-
ankle. So I that's
You
what
play
when you
football?
constantly.
Okay,
So
there you go.
I've broken both
And
ankles.
it's not really good. That's why it's
So-
breaking legs.
But anyway, I'll just ignore you. But see, this, I think, for me, again, this is where I said this is going to be like a learning process. Like, obviously, the reason for a dialogue is not to 1000% be on the same par, you know, but we have to learn from each other. Like, I might go away from here today and go, you know what, okay, I have to look at this differently based on the environment I'm in currently, right? So, my thing is, in England, because I can't speak for any other European or American country. In England, where I've lived for the past 13 years, which is technically my first home now. Nigeria
Yes,
used
we
to-
get it.
you
We
know,
get it. You got a British
before
passport.
you say
Okay.
I
All right.
came
We
by
get it.
boat.
Okay.
Living in England, I feel like there's a name for everything. If you bite your nail and chip it, there's a name for it. And this is what I think that creates, right? In Nigeria, you see someone who's walking on the street, talking to themselves. They're either A, drunk, because alcohol is cheap, right? Or they're going through something. But guess what? This is the same person that will sit down and still have a normal conversation with you. But we don't label things in Nigeria until it's the extreme.
Yeah.
Now, I can understand why don't you prevent it before it gets to the extreme. Now, this is my own point. This is why I don't see the... I know it's your profession, but this is why I don't agree with the term having a psychiatrist. Like, if I'm talking to you, I book a session every time. You're talking to me, you're probably easing me for that 1 hour. But when I go away, the problem might not go away. It might change. Or if
I'm gonna
they
stop.
say,
I'm gonna stop you there. The reason I'm gonna stop you there is because you don't. No,
wait,
the reason I'm stopping you there. The reason I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Is because I don't think you understand the process of seeing a psychiatric.
And this is where I'm going to correct you. Now, if I go away, when worse comes to worse, they might prescribe something, right?
Not necessarily.
I said might.
Okay.
Keyword.
Okay, sorry,
English
sorry,
is important.
sorry.
They might prescribe something, right? Worst comes to worst, if you can't prescribe anything, what's the and this is going to lead to my next statement. What's the next step?
You get admitted, as you would do if you get any.
Depending on what you're experiencing, what you're going through.
Yeah.
You know, you could have therapy.
Yeah.
You know, talking therapy. There are loads of different types of therapy depending on what's going on for you or the person. That would be the next step.
And Oz might say this is due to my Ajebo privileged background or whatever, which doesn't exist. When I was in school in Nigeria, you had people who were well behaved in class. They were quiet, go about their day, and then you had people like myself. I couldn't sit down for 5 minutes, right? I'm at a stage in my career where I'm totally fine. But if someone had labeled that as what do you call it? Is it PTSD? PTSD the
HDAD.
HD. Yeah,
ADHD.
Yeah, ADHD, right? What that does to the kids, like, they now tell you, okay, you need to be special ed, or you need to be special this, and in a special class. I wasn't treated that way. I was told not by being whooped, because everybody has this thought of, like, in Nigeria, they just whoop you. It's like, my principal will call me in the office and, like, they reported you again today, you're disturbing the class, da. Never put a label on me. I'm happy where I am in my life right now. I might get distracted when you're that, do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you in a sense that, you know, sometimes like labels, when people put a lot of labels on things, you know, like I said, there's a lot of stigma, you know, a lot of people, you know, you can get singled out for it, things like that. It can lead to bullying, things like that. So there, not gonna lie, there are pros and cons to putting a label on things, as with most things. But, you know, again, so one of the pros might be, which is key here, is that it gives you access to support. It gives those that don't have a voice access to things that they may not necessarily have access to.
Okay.
You know, you talk about schools, especially, you know, kids with special educational needs. Okay, you know, them having, you know, someone having dyslexia in a school, for example, which means that actually they have really difficulties learning and developing. Them having sort of maybe an assessment, you know, understanding what their needs are, that label will give them access to, okay, this particular package of support that has been shown to be helpful for that particular difficulty. So in a sense, I do agree with it partly, but obviously, you know, with labels, society has its own sort of.
So sorry, Oz, I'm gonna come in here, and now this is where, you know, when I say I don't agree with it 1000%, is real life is different. Real life is, we're all adults here. We know real life is different. What you learn in primary school, secondary school, even all the way to university, where as much as they try to prepare you for real life is different. Very different. So when you have like kids who have probably been labeled in school to get support, they get the support, they get everything they need, you know, the necessary equipments to succeed. In real life, we still have employers who they're not there to give you that support. So let's say you're built to be like, let's say, a doctor or something. Officially, that writes you off because they feel like you're not in the best state mental state. Because I'm sure part of being, you know, in medicine and a medical career or field is you have to be at some point, you know, mentally stable, according to some people, like, because you're going to be treating people, you're going to be operating on people, regardless. People who have desires to go into that field, they've already lost out from the start. Because from school, they've been diagnosed as...
I wouldn't say so, actually.
Really?
I wouldn't say so.
I feel like you can affect the future.
Because, you know, with like with physical health, it doesn't matter who, you can still break your leg and be the top doctor in the world. Yeah. You can still, you know, we have, you know, loads of people that work.
Yeah, Steve Hawkins is a very good example.
Exactly. So, you know, you can still live with, you know, a condition and make the most out of your life. The only reason why we have, like you say, you know, we have diagnoses, so the labels that you want to, you know, they call them, we have a diagnosis of things. Like I said, it's so that people can access support to allow them to manage their day-to-day life. You know, I think it comes to a point where we have to really try and start normalizing what mental health is, because it's not always a disorder.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be something that's affecting your whole life. So I have OCD. Maybe I like to iron my shirts first thing in the morning, and I like to put it on straight after. That kind of OCD.
But that's who you are.
That's calm. That's
See,
who
that's
I am. But check
where my
this,
issue
check
is.
this. Listen, check this. So if it becomes a problem where I'm running late for work every day, and because I'm running late for work every day, I could potentially lose my job because I have to iron all the time, in the mornings. That's when it's going to start affecting my life. That's when it's going to start being a problem in my life, and that's when I might hold on a second. I might need some help to sort of tone this down a bit. Don't have to completely get rid of it.
Yeah.
But actually, if I can live with ironing my shirts, literally for
The
5
night
minutes in the
before.
morning, the night before, something like that, that would be fine if I could get to that stage. And that's what I might need support with.
But
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
these examples are like. Sorry, go on.
That's what you just said is probably what I have issue with.
Why do you
Is in terms of, you said that it has to come to a state where we start to normalize it,
Yes.
and I feel like that for me is a cop out.
What do you mean cop out?
Let me relax.
He'll treat you differently.
I
because you're
know,
his boy.
relax now. Relax now.
Yeah.
The reason I say is a cop out because I feel like when we start to normalize things of the mind, I feel like then that's something that's easily passed down, and then we then start to make excuses for how we live. Right, we get to a stage where, do you know what? Because it's a normalized behavior, right? Okay, cool. You just have this because that's how it is. Whereas no, that's not how it is.
Okay, picture this. Okay, now.
Sorry, Kenny, Mike. So they can pick everything you're saying.
All right,
No,
okay.
it's important for them to hear.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
Put your
yeah.
lips on the mic.
It's fine. Because I think it's important for people to hear this, because I know we're going to need to wrap up soon, but I want you to think a little bit about, if you had one thing that you loved doing, okay, and you couldn't do that anymore, right? You couldn't do that, no matter how hard you tried or whatever. You just couldn't do that anymore, and you felt like nothing could ever help you. No one could, nothing could. How would you feel?
But to what level are we talking about?
I'm just saying, literally, you couldn't do that one thing anymore. That all those things that you love doing, you just weren't able to do them anymore.
Okay.
How would you feel? Just tell me one word. How would you feel?
I'll feel down.
Okay.
You can even say
All right,
the word
hold on.
depressed. Yeah.
Hold on, you feel down. Okay. Imagine if that goes on for longer than 2-3 months. How would you feel then?
You find an alternative.
No, I'm just saying. Imagine if that goes on for longer than 3 months. Let's say it does go on for longer than 3 months. How would you feel then?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I would find an alternative.
I know, but I'm asking you to imagine how it feels. What hypothetically you can't find an alternative?
Okay, then that would be difficult to deal with. Maybe lead to depression.
Okay, now it's really important, as you said. I think you've picked up on it, but it's really important now that why I say it's really important to normalize it, because a lot of people go through it. I'm not trying to water it down by normalizing it. Normalizing it just simply means that actually, yes, a lot of people go through it. A lot of people are struggling with it, and it's important that you don't feel alone when you're dealing with something like that. Because, as you said, if we use your sister as an example, actually, it's great that she had you, because imagine if she felt alone and she couldn't go to anybody. It's really important to normalize, because a lot of people go through it, and it's normal.
Okay, I actually this before. I think we was at an event, right? And the question was raised up in that event about I think it was Pen Talk. Anyway, yeah, Pen Talk. Yes, it was Pen Talk. Yes, check out that event, Pen Talk. And the question was raised up in terms of, if you had a preference, would you date somebody that suffered from depression, right? And then I rose up and said, I didn't think I wouldn't want to date somebody that suffers from any form of mental illness. And I said it from a perspective of, from my angle, is that not because I feel like there's anything wrong within that. I feel like they wouldn't be able to cope with somebody like me, right? They wouldn't be able to cope with someone like me, in the sense of, I may
That's
not.
got nothing to do with mental health. That's your personality.
No, but that's what I'm saying. No. But we're still on this straight of normalizing it, right? And when we had that conversation, you said that that's a form of just being able to deal with mental illness, just a form of dealing with sickness. It's a form of dealing, and then they aligned it with somebody that suffered from sickle cell, right? If someone suffer from sickle cell, they suffer from sickle cell. That's what they suffer. So someone suffer from depression, they suffer from depression. Now, would that be your preference of dating them? So if you were able to date somebody that suffers from sickle cell, why would you not be able to date someone that suffers from depression? And I said, well, do you know what? No, right? Because I don't feel like that's the same. I feel like if I had the choice, of course, if I had the choice, I wouldn't want to date somebody that suffers from depression. Nor would I want to date.
You need to just find out what depression is.
Nor would I want to date somebody that suffers from sickle cell.
And I think that's my problem, Kenny, because the diagnosis for these things are becoming very. It's not losing the importance of it. Like, this is why we say that people who really, really, really suffer. Really, really suffer. But the way everything just gets diagnosed right now, it's like, for me, it looks like a propaganda because the drugs are not cheap. The drugs
are cheap.
And this is my problem. This is my problem. It's not like, it's almost becoming like people. Okay, I understand the getting to terms with mental health or illness or whatever it's called. Not whatever it's called. But I'm thinking to myself is more drugs are being sold.
Because there's a biological part to it as well.
And this is one, but there's maybe I can't help but look at things.
Okay, you're looking from finance point.
No, but you can't write off that because.
Look, let me just put it straight and simple. Yeah, if we're getting into medication and drugs, then we're not just looking at mental health. We're looking at every other type of.
And that's why I don't want it to become.
We're looking at every other type.
That's why I don't want people's state of mind to become, because I feel like.
But I guess what you're talking about.
That's why we have alternatives. We don't just have medication. Medication is not.
But I always feel that's for people who really suffer for it. That's the end result.
So what do you say about people? What do you say about people where do you stand in the line of mental illness being hereditary?
Yeah, I think there's always evidence for that.
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't read anything.
Oh, really? There is?
Yeah. I bet. Please let us know.
There is.
Please give me an article I need to read, and I will make sure.
Okay,
I'm being serious. I will study overnight.
What's a form of what illness or state
look
is hereditary?
What illness or state is hereditary?
I mean, what mental illness is hereditary?
It's kind of like, if you think about it in this way, okay. So let's say, for example, in your family, there's a history of mental health difficulties, and naturally, yes. There's going to be, there's a possibility that someone later on down the line might have some mental health difficulties, And, I think just because that there is a history of mental health difficulties in the family, no problem, It's just the same as there's a history of cancer in the family. There's a history of, something or whatever in the family, It's just that's the way.
Yeah, but unlike diabetes and cancers that flow through the blood and through genes, you can't really say mental illness flows through the genes or something.
It's a state of mind.
Well, you guys need to read up.
No, and that's why I said I need an article.
Because
I can't draw one out straight away.
Okay, because the reason I say that is that I strongly believe, I strongly stand on the ground that if anything that is of the mind, it can't be hereditary, right? The same way. That's maybe I'm ignorant from saying that, and people can point that out for me. But I just have the general understanding that anything that's of the state of the mind cannot be hereditary, right? It's down to the possibility of your environment, things that you picked up, things that you're influenced by, things where you are, wherever. So therefore, I feel like that can be easily treated or compactalized, right? Whereas anything that is because I don't believe that the mind is the mind.
You're talking about organic problems, right?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Is that what you're talking about? Because there's you're talking about organic problems.
Yeah.
That you don't believe that mental health difficulties, there's an organic, real hereditary organic,
Yeah. Maybe kind of defense behind it.
I just feel like anything that's mental illness is a state of the mind, right? Or either they've been or in some cases there's a damage to the brain, right? And that's not from what I know, and like I said, I don't have the medical accolades to prove that, but from what I know,
Forgive
feel
our
like
science.
It'll be hard.
basically.
It'll be really
Yeah.
hard for you to speak on that. Then.
Yeah, that's it. It's very,
I mean, it's really
yeah,
hard
yeah.
for me to listen to this right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the
But that's
that's
what
why
I'm-
that's
that's
why
what I'm asking you.
that's why we
Yeah,
brought you on the show.
That's
you
what I'm
know?
saying. Exactly.
To-
That's what, so you should be.
that's why we've brought you on the show.
Yeah,
'cause
fair enough.
we
but-
both
and
feel
I
like
feel
we're
it's not
somewhat.
even enough time.
I know, and that's what I'm
But
saying.
that's fine.
We
I
can
mean-
scrap the whole 40 minutes there. I'm ready to learn
No,
tonight.
no, I mean, we can stick to your time.
No.
No.
It's
We
a
can
sensitive.
tell us.
It's a
Tell us.
sensitive.
Tell
issue.
us
But
where
I just,
you-
but
where
I
you
just
feel-
think
It's an ignorant
it needs
statement to
come-
make.
Yeah,
Okay.
it needs to come in sort of bits. You can't learn everything in one
Okay,
night.
fair
and
enough.
Actually, there is a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of science. There's a lot of research behind mental health. Way back beyond us.
As an
And we're just talking
hereditary.
about- You're just thinking a little bit about depression, anxiety. What about things like psychosis and schizophrenia? What
What's
about things
psycho?
like that?
I know what's schizophrenia. What's
Okay,
psychosis?
schizophrenia can be a form of psychosis.
Okay.
You can say
Yeah,
that.
alright.
Schizophrenia, things like that.
That's not
Let's
hereditary.
talk a little bit about dementia as well.
Okay.
You know,
I don't
not-
even feel like that's hereditary.
Not just that.
Mm.
But you need to do your research.
No, I'm
before
saying
you
that.
make
Do you know what?
Okay,
Do
the
you know
reason I'm
what?
saying
You
that.
need to do your
Okay,
research.
Can I
you're
butt-
right.
can
You're
I butt
right.
in,
You're right.
guys?
The
Can
reason
I-
I'm saying
You need
that
to do your
because I feel
research.
like the core principles of all of those things doesn't feel like it stems from a hereditary factor.
Do you know what we're gonna do, right? And I want you to agree with us. Depends on your schedule, but I think we should make this like a 3-part.
A 3-part.
Yes. Honestly, because right now I'm learning, and I'm sure, like, believe me, there's maybe black young guys my age, lived in 2 different worlds like myself and Oz, don't really get it. I think we need to make a 3-part.
Us? Okay.
Because based on the question
actually,
Oz has just raised tonight, saying in terms of we don't think it's hereditary, you might have a different proof, and obviously you can't, like you said, very good point. You can't learn everything in one episode, one night. I think it should be a 3-part.
Yeah, I agree. And what I would say is that if there is another sort of
Yeah.
part 2 part, part 3, has to be a bit of a better structure.
Yeah.
And if anyone that's watching, you've got any questions,
Yes,
you
yes.
really need to know about something,
Mm.
slide in their DMs and let them know. But
You know Tofi, right?
Tofi.
You know what you do. You do.
Oh,
you do,
okay.
you
Yeah.
do.
Oh, Tofi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
spoke about
Yeah.
something like this when we spoke about the
Depression.
depression and do people deserve a home, or
Yeah,
do they need a
homelessness, yeah.
home? When we spoke about homelessness, and she was like, Tola, I work with people every day. You don't know what people go through. And then for me, I said to her the same thing I'm saying to you. I said, listen, it's a matter of choice. That. And she was like, because she's in, I think, the same field as yourself. So I think we might even have her on the phone. That's how interesting, and not forget interesting. That's how educative I want this to be. I don't want it to just be like, you're sent to the middle. And, having 2 people from the same field would actually even enlighten people a lot more. Hence why I'm saying we should make this a 3-part.
Sure. I think a lot of people need to start speaking up about it more, especially
Yeah.
a lot of ethnic minorities. Not just the black community.
Yeah.
Asians, Polish. A lot of the ethnic minorities need to speak up a lot about it because yes, it's a sensitive issue, but we need to create that awareness. Because people just don't know, and actually, a lot of people would get offended making statements that people may not be too aware of.
Because what I don't want to do is the fact that I don't 1000% believe in the strength of which is being pushed doesn't mean other people can't learn.
Yeah.
Other people can't be aware. I'm not that ignorant to think, because I don't believe it. I think you should be. That's why I want people to learn and be aware as much as they can. If it's going to improve someone's life, it doesn't necessarily have to affect me or affect me. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I still want the awareness to be out there. If that's the cause, if that's what's going to, the outcome of this would be, and this is what I want it to be, like, whoever's going to learn from this should be able to get as much as they can. We're not, that's what we don't, if it was up to me, I don't even want you to go into, I want you to dumb it down. No, I'm being serious, because sometimes things go off people's heads, I want you to, like, even dumb it down, but still with strength in it, make people like myself understand. You don't know, maybe by the end of part 3, I might be like, you know what, guys, I'm on board. You never know. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I want it to be. Forget the podcast, forget the minutes, forget. I don't know what you think, Oz. I feel like people who are going to learn from it should learn from it, and we might even learn from it. You might come on the next time and prove that it's hereditary, and we're like, wow, jaw drops. You know, that's how I see it. I shouldn't deny people from learning if I'm not gonna learn.
Yeah, I think I echo that point. You know, I think it's important. You know, for you to learn as well. You know,
Yeah.
for everyone to get a bit of awareness about it. You know, just one more thing, because you talked about this big push for it. You know, the reason why there's a big push for it is because people, or we, don't want people to suffer in silence. You know, without the big push, a lot of people will suffer in silence. You know, regardless of whether or not it's good or bad or not to create a mental awareness, there will always be those people that suffer in silence, that wouldn't know what to do, that feel out of place, etc. That anxious. So I think creating awareness for it is great. You know, as you can see, a lot of celebrities have come out and talked about their mental health difficulties. Stormzy, off the top of my head, I can't remember quite a few, but even some of the, what's that lady from EastEnders, Peggy Mitchell. I think she came out in the news lately and said she had was it Alzheimer's as well.
I think,
and actually, why didn't she? Why didn't she come out a bit earlier? Was it because of
the stigma?
Was it because didn't want people to know? Why shouldn't it be normalized so people can feel free without suffering in too much silence? Who knows the reasons why? I'm not sure, but that's why I feel like yes, it should be a little bit of a big push, and yes, it should be normalized, because just like physical health problem is very, very, very normalized. Break your leg is fine. You wear a cast. You move on, and at work they might take the mickey for a bit and take your crutches away, but that's all right. But mental health as well, it should be normalized as well on that level.
Yeah, but I don't think it would ever sound the same as breaking a leg.
It may not. It
never will.
But it doesn't hurt to try now.
No, you're right. I get what you're saying. I think you're right. And obviously we've talked privately in terms of mental illness and what we want to do.
We talked privately.
Nah, yeah, because you just mentioned 3-part, and you're like,
no, I know.
I was like, Ken's doing a lot of awareness program, and we're looking to do it more of a what do you call it, a social event, to raise more awareness within our community in terms of mental health. So guys, check out for that, and we'll gladly do the 3-part so that we can
it might be 2. It doesn't have to be 3. It could be longer than 3.
So we can so we can just share more light in terms of mental, and I think what we need to go into is also coping mechanism. Right, from what's kind of like
definitely
the common illnesses.
It's so good talking about it, but you need to provide a coping mechanism for people. And I want you to go away with this question I'm about to ask you. I want you to go away with it, and next time you come back, I want a full-fledged answer. Why is it a problem in the minority community to talk about mental health?
That's an amazing question, and I wish we started with that.
Yes. No, I'm happy we didn't. I'm happy we didn't. I'm happy we didn't.
However,
I'm happy we didn't. Don't answer that now.
I won't answer that, but it's an amazing question. We should start out with that.
Okay. Part 2.
It's really important to discuss.
The people are going to hold you to your word. Part 2?
Yeah, sure. Part 2. Gonna do it.
Thank you very much, Kenny.
Right,
we appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming.
Touche.
Guys, one thing I personally learned from today's episode is if you're not going to learn, don't stop other people from learning. Basically, us might be very ignorant, but it doesn't stop people from learning.
Do you know you're right. I do make some ignorant statement.
You did tonight, actually.
Okay, I probably made several,
but I support you though.
But I guess it's ignorant to the sense that I don't have the full picture.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying that based on what I currently know, what I've currently seen. But yes, it might be ignorant. Some people, of course, I've been.
No, that's why we have you on the show.
We've been talking about this for years.
That's why we have you on the show.
We've been talking. How are you gonna say am I willing to learn?
This echoes.
Like we ain't been talking about this for a while.
Look,
but if you've been talking for a while, it doesn't sound like it's learning.
Your closing statement, bro. Your closing statement weren't looking like you had to squat. It just looked like I've come and just.
Squat.
It just came.
See, and that's why I said. That's why I said.
It's calm.
That's why I said we need to
dumb
it down.
Make sure you watch it more than once. Make sure you watch it more than once.
Yeah. On that being said, guys, make sure you subscribe. Alright, subscribe to our show.
Please subscribe.
Let us know your comments. We'd love to hear your guys' perspective. And if you guys if you know somebody that's suffering from mental illness, guys, like I said, mental health
or well-being,
whatever colloquialism they're using these days, please just show some support And let us know, you know, if that's the experience that you've been and you like to share your experience. We'd love to know your experience and how you coped with it, and you know what's been like your support that you got ever, whether you went through the NHS or you did it privately or whatever form of psychiatric.
Whatever works for you. If you're willing to share, please don't
share.
hold back.
And subscribe and like and DM us if you got any questions. My name's Oz.
And my name's Tola, and we'd like to thank you again, Kenny, for coming through. Thank you very much. We will see you very soon again.
I hope so.
Thank you. No, hold
with my tools.
All right.
Thank you very much.
And
this is Big Loud Mouth.